Welcome to Lynn Speaks. An inspirational, motivational conversation designed specifically to help you move forward. And now, here's Lynn. Experience the difference with Executive Transportation Services Network, your trusted leader in luxury ground transportations and concierge services. Our award-winning team delivers safe, reliable, and professional services every time. Call 734-770-8990. Choose Executive Transportation Services Network, where excellence rides with you.
Here we go. It might be good now. It says it was muted.
So, can you hear it now?
Calm down for a couple seconds.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Healing is essential to life.
Oh, I
as
heard
life is to healing.
Boom.
In this healing
All right.
box, you will
I'm the
find
audio man.
aspirations,
My apologies for that,
comfort,
folks.
and
She on the
meaning.
audio. She's on the
Dig in to enhance your thoughts without thinking about what others might think about you. Your destiny is set from above. It is valid and true. Let your light shine as a beacon to others, knowing that you are a testament that's blessed and covered. Anointed by oil, your healing is secure. Watch and see how grace and mercy endures. A soothing portion will relax your mind and soul. You will enjoy as your relief breaks through and unfolds. A book for knowledge you will embrace. Lessons you will learn as your healing takes place. My songs I sing to you. Rejoice and be glad is the omen that I leave with you. You are resilient and strong. All inside of you, joy will reign as you discover what you already knew. Words can't express what the card is all about to help you find healing from inside out. As you go through the storm, you are not alone, and there is not doubt. The sun will shine, and your journey moves on. Guided by the light, you will stand and grow strong. This healing box is meant to inspire and heal you. Always remember to take one step beyond you.
tech problems, but hopefully it's fixed. So if you guys can hear, make sure you put a comment down in the comment section to let me know that you can hear us, because we're excited about today's podcast. So just give me a shout out, give me a thumbs up or something in the chat box to let me know that you guys can hear us. And so today's podcast, we are focusing on harvesting your purpose. I have my son here with me today, and we're just going to dive in and we're going to pour out to you, right? Because as I said before, the part that you may have missed, there are so many people on Thanksgiving, they don't have family to spend time with them, or they could have had fallen out or lost their loved ones, and you're sitting at home alone, not enjoying such a great Thanksgiving meal like many other people are. And so we wanted to jump in on here just to be a blessing to you, to be able to perhaps pour a word or motivate and inspire you. So today's guest is my son, my oldest son, Que Nance. And what I call Q, he's like the greatest salesman in the world. But I'm so excited to have him on today's podcast.
You heard it here first.
So I just want to welcome Q to the show today. Welcome, Que Nance, to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. Apologies for the audio issues. I'm usually the audio guy as well. But we got that taken care of. I saw a guy do this at church, so I just had to kind of do what the church guy did and get up and fix the audio.
Right. You are so right. Because we were having an awesome service on Sunday. And you know, when people sometimes when people are speaking or singing in the microphone, you hear that screeching sound, and they were doing all the hand cues, and then all of a sudden he just said, these hand cues aren't working, and he stopped playing the piano and he went back to the system and he fixed the sound and he got back on, and we never stopped clapping and never stopped praising God. So thank you for that.
Not a problem at all. Thank you.
So first of all, we just come from enjoying the first part of Thanksgiving, and as I was saying to the viewers that we needed to take a pause break so that we can come and pour out to them. But did you enjoy the food so far?
Oh, it was delicious. It was delicious. And for those of you that know, I do macro counting, calorie counting, things like that. I did the device on my phone called that a Thanksgiving plate, and I could tell you how many calories I had, my protein, my carbs, my fat intake. But I'm still having fun, and I'm gonna have another plate tonight. That's gonna be the one right there. Sometimes you can have a little, you can leave a little bit of room for some excess, and it's just that time of year where you have got to eat. There's food there, there's family, and you definitely got to eat. If it's there, enjoy it.
Yes, absolutely. So, Que Nance, before we dive into the questions, I want you to just tell my audience a little bit about yourself. See, they know all about your mom, Erica Lynn Speaks, where I come from, what I did. And they do know that I have children, but they don't know about my children. So just tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
All right. I was born. No, I'm just playing. So I'm the oldest of three. The camera guy and the digital guy, that's my youngest brother. That's Jalen. The coordinator behind the scenes is my sister. She's the middle child. I am the oldest of three. I do insurance when I'm not doing this. I'm into physical activities. We've done some traveling and living as expats, me and my sister. I'm very optimistic. I'm very charismatic. I'm very principle oriented. Again, the oldest of three. I'm the church goer. I pray. I don't really do too much these days. I get out when I can, but when you're 30, it definitely catches up with you. I can have fun. I can get out, but I can't get out till about 4 or 5 in the morning anymore. As you can see the way I'm speaking, you can hear my age. You can hear the maturity. It shows.
What age? What age?
It shows. All I'm saying is I'm not 21 anymore. That 9-year gap. You know what I'm saying? There's some of you out there who you know where I'm coming from. I'm like 30 is not the new 19. 30 is like the new 25. You know, I'm doing pretty good, but yeah. But yeah, as Mom said earlier, I am, in my opinion, because you just have to be that way these days, I am the world's greatest salesman. I'm the world's greatest salesman. I'm speaking that into fruition.
Okay.
Sales is something that I'm very ambitious about. I pride myself in making sure that I am second to none.
Okay.
I make sure that I'm very knowledgeable about whatever product I touch, whether it be insurance, whether it be selling a vehicle or selling some piece of property or service. I pride myself in being knowledgeable and what, and what I'm offering to you. So I'm the sales child, the ambition guy, the quarter zip kid.
So do you are the oldest. So as a mom, I do see that your leadership skills have improved, but there are many people or siblings that struggle with being a leader in their family. Do you think or feel or know that it is your purpose to be the leader of the family, not just your immediate siblings, but leadership within the family as a whole?
That is a very great question, and I do now. That's what I'll say. I do now. Prior to, there's a lot of things that happen in life. When you come up, everybody isn't gifted with the same hand as everybody else. So there was a big portion of my life where I was angry and upset. You see that a lot in the Black community. I was angry, I was upset, and I was afraid to step into my purpose. I was afraid to harvest my purpose. And it's funny because that's the title of today's show. And so I can see now, and I do actively see that I am that leader in the family. Again, prior to, I would run from that responsibility. I wanted no parts of it, but you have to have a leader. And especially being the oldest male in your family, when you're gifted that role, when God is forging you, he definitely molds you into something sharp, something tight, something very cohesive. So I definitely see it now. That is what I'll
Because
say.
it comes with a greater level of responsibility, right?
And it comes with time. It comes
Yes.
with time.
Yes, because it's not something that some people are born leaders. Some people can grow into leadership, right? Because if you're not that way in the beginning, you can't take the steps to get there. It's just called maturity, right? Some people have to mature to that place in life, and those are all of the baby steps that you have to take, right? Because we were having a conversation in the car ride to get back here. We talked about what I like the book that Iyanla Van Zandt wrote. It's called In the Meantime. And that in the meantime is the things that you go through until you get to that greater place in life or till you reach those goals. What do you do in the meantime to get there? Did you stay consistent on your goals? Did you get up every morning and pray? Did you exercise every day, such as yourself? Or, did you fall off and eat a lot? When you're saying, okay, I want to lose 50 pounds, but then you didn't do the things that you needed to do to get there. And then when you reach the end results, you didn't achieve the results that you wanted because you didn't follow the steps that you needed to follow to get there. However, when it comes to leadership or when it comes to purpose, you don't just wake up sometimes and say, I know what my purpose is, or I know what I have to do to get my purpose. Sometimes you have to go through things in life to discover what your purpose is. Because I had no idea what my purpose was. Yes, I was a mother of 3 children, but I had no clue until I was almost 40 years old of me having a purpose. I thought my purpose was to be your mother, to raise y'all to be the best children that you could be. However, discovering what my purpose was, and then I found out the greater level of responsibility that comes with this purpose of mine. So I'm going to ask you, do you know what your purpose is?
That is also a wonderful question. You know what? I'm going to retract the What I will say is it's a very broad it's a very broad question.
Okay.
However, there are a few ways that I can answer that.
Okay.
In the midst of being the oldest in my family, my purpose is to be the leader. In the midst of being the future provider, protector, or husband that I'll be for my wife and my children, my goal is to be that leader for them, that head of household. Alternatively, if we're looking at it from a career aspect, my purpose is to be that generational millionaire. My purpose is to jumpstart that gap. God has gifted me with things like knowledge of insurance, leaving a legacy, learning the difference between riches and wealth. There's a lot of people who just don't understand that. They don't understand the importance of having something like life insurance, annuities, 401ks, retirement planning. These were skills that God gifted me into. And there was an element of luck involved. And when I say luck, I don't just mean something that fell out the sky. To me, luck is simply when preparation meets opportunity. That's luck to me. Because you can prepare, but eventually what you're preparing for will arrive. And if you have prepared, you will be able to spearhead it and hit it right on the nose. So that is how I would answer that question.
Oh, wow. That's pretty powerful. So when you see a lot of people out here today and you see them on stage performing, or you see them behind the camera doing the TV show and the movies, and you might say, wow, they're lucky. But then to peel back what you said, some of them went to acting school. A lot of them, if you hear a lot of success stories, they tell you, I had 50 doors close in my face before someone said yes to me, but they did not give up, right? And in that process of those 50 doors closing, that was a lesson that they learned. That was some piece of knowledge that they gained when they went on that audition. That person that said no to them, they might have said no because of, yeah, it might have hurt their feelings at the time, but they walked away with a piece of knowledge saying, okay, I'm going to do this differently on the next audition. And so they just kept trying and trying until finally somebody said yes. So I do agree with you. They prepared themselves for that opportunity. And so kudos to you on that, because by me being your mother, I seen your walk. It wasn't an easy walk, right? It wasn't an easy. Well, you were quite angry sometimes, but to be the young man that you are
100%.
today, I'm glad that I would say that God had his hands on you. But what about those individuals that's out there today on Thanksgiving? Some people are mad, some people are upset. Their life is just not going the way that they planned for it to go. What would you say to that person that is struggling just to get out of bed and say, "Oh, it's Thanksgiving"? All these, as you used to say it, all these stupid people out here enjoying Thanksgiving, and I'm not, because I have to be alone in my house by myself and nobody there to share it with. What word of encouragement, or what would you say to that person?
Let me give you some quick backstory. So when I finished college, I was in the Dorsey School. I finished college. I went and I became a supervisor for the AMC movie theater. This was probably almost 10 years ago. And the thing about the movie theater is they're open almost 365 days a year. It had to be an emergency for them to even be closed. The reason B is so that people who are on the holidays, people who don't have family, have somewhere to go. They have somewhere to go on Christmas. They can go see a movie. They have somewhere to go on Thanksgiving. They get some popcorn, see a movie, maybe meet a new friend, or get a laugh. I spent many, many years working at the movie theater. I think I was there for about 3 or 4 years. And in that time of me being there, I almost did not get to attend any family holidays. My brother got to go. My sister got to go. I was making money. I was getting holiday pay, but didn't get to go. I was upset. I was upset for a long time. I'm like, man, it's not fair. I don't get to go get my plate. I don't get to do this. I don't get to do that. But it's part of what some will call the decade of solitude. That's when God starts to forge you and to introduce you to circumstances that are going to prepare you for your future. Being a man in society nowadays, being a man, there's a lot of sacrifices that you're going to have to make in order for the women and the children around you to be able to have the freedom in their life to do the things that allow them to have some fun, to meet opportunity, to enjoy some fun experiences, to get growth opportunities, to meet different people in different walks of life. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to put your head down. And I call it head down grind time, because when you work and you do that decade of solitude, now, God has gifted me and put me in a position to where I get to attend every holiday if I want to. I can work for an hour and I could just happen to sell a big policy. I can make $1,000 that day, but it didn't start that way. To make it short, because I don't like to carry things on very long. I just like to draw a picture for you. And part of that decade of solitude, I kept messing up, and I was listening to my grandpa Nathan talk about this, and my mother, about skipping steps and leaving holes in your foundation. And you make it up, but then you make a mistake somewhere. You end up where you started or below it. And for 2 years, after I messed up, I went completely broke. I blew it. I mean, I hit rock bottom. My credit and my finances were so bad, I didn't even have a place to stay. For about a solid year, I lived between a car and a residential building to make sure that I got myself back in a position to be able to be there for my loved ones. I worked all day. I never took a day off. I still missed holidays that year, but because I made that sacrifice, now I have the freedom to do the things that I want, that I always wanted to do. And what's crazy? Now that I get to do those things, it's honestly not even that great. So I say that to say, you want to be thankful that you have it, but you're really not missing anything. You're missing the illusion of what people put in front of you, because that's how I call it the Matrix. The Matrix will psyop you like that. The Matrix will make it look like everything is grandeur and luxurious, and it's usually just people hyping things up. Oh, you gotta get this water. This water is just the best water ever. It's a bottle of water, man. I know there's grades to water, but it's a bottle of water, man.
Yeah.
You got to get this Fiji or this Voss, or you got to get this Saratoga water. I get it, but it's still just water, man, at the end of the day. But that title, that status, it makes you feel like you've accomplished something, like you've achieved something, like you've made it somewhere. So I don't want to ruin that feeling for people. But what I will say is just realize while you're working for what you're working for, while you're isolated or you feel unseen or you're alone, it's all going to pay off. Just do not stop, because usually when you want to stop, if you keep going, you'll realize that you are closer than you think.
Yes, I think that's a great point. So first of all, I did let him stay in his car and in the residential building. Not that he couldn't stay with me, but I understood as a mother that was the journey that he had to go through. And I just thank God that there were men around me saying, I know you want to go and rescue him, but you can't, because he has to go through this. So it wasn't just challenging for him, it was challenging for me. But just like he grew from it, I grew from it, because when he came back showing up as this whole man, I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And he's like, mother, I got it. And I was like, what do you mean? I don't have to do everything and work 5 jobs and take her. Mother, I got it. And I was like, oh, okay then. And so that was a very good point that he brought out, because you will have to go through things in life. Life is not always roses and just easy for everybody. God is going to test you, and through those tests you're going to come out on the abundant side, because I'm speaking that into existence for you. But you have to go through your test so that you can grow through your tests. But because you'll never know what you really can do if you haven't been tested. If everything in life is always handed to you, then how do you know what's going to happen when challenges come up, right? Because there's people that are faced with challenges and they really feel like throwing in the towel. And Lord knows I don't want anybody to throw in the towel. What I would like for you to do is understand this is just a place in the space that God have you in for right now. And you're not always going to be here. You're going to rise above it. You're going to come out of this space. But while you're in this space, I want you to take the time to read your Bible every day. I want you to pray every day. I want you to talk to God and say, God, why you got me going through this? Like, I talk to him like he one of my homeboys, okay? I don't have all these great prayer like you hear the preacher preaching and he talking. I talk to God from my urban Ebonic voice, okay? But I'm saying that to say is that you gotta like improve your skill sets. You gotta really pray. Like, you got to talk to God. You got to build a team around you. So some of you may not have family, close family, blood family. But how many of you know that sometimes people that's outside of your blood can be just as close as family to you as your biological family? You can make a family, right? You can build a family, because these individuals will show you more love than sometimes your own family will. So I know that it's sad, or it's like disheartening to not be able to be with your family on Thanksgiving. But there really is a lot of things to be thankful for. The number one thing is you woke up this morning. Okay. So Q, I want to ask you, what is something that you're thankful for?
I hate to be one of those vague people that just be like, oh yeah, everything. I really am. But if I had to pick a specific thing, I'm thankful that I have the relationship that I have with you, with my siblings, and with my father, because we all came a very long way. When I say we used to fight and argue and fight and argue and fight and argue all the time. And we would get out there and we would embarrass you. I mean, we would embarrass our mother. I'm thankful for how we act, how we behave, and just the relationship that we have. Like I mentioned earlier, this podcast is conducted by family. My brother is behind the camera right now. I listen to a gentleman at my church. And I don't want him to feel like he's singled out, so I'm not going to say his name, but I appreciate him sharing this with us. But he said, if him and his siblings ever had to do anything together, they usually are arguing, and then somebody just submits because they're never able to meet in the middle. And we make this work so well because we are always able to compromise and work together. So that's what I'm thankful for, having you guys and the relationship we have now. And just short, most people, when it starts off rocky, they will try to run away from what they have and try and build something somewhere else. We didn't run away. We all just separated. We molded ourselves and we came back together like Voltron, and we became a dope team. We're incredible.
Yes. Because I got an awesome team. And in this season, because you guys have stepped up, we did have to get past the fighting and the arguing, y'all, because it was embarrassing. Like, I think I probably still owe y'all a whooping for all of those times, but y'all too old for that. So that means that you guys are paying it forward and blessing me with being an awesome team, because like he said, one is my producer, and Que Nance actually does take care of my audio. My daughter is my social media manager, and she also she's going after sponsorships, because we do have another podcast that we're doing once a month called Couch, Wine, and Conversations. And there's going to be 5 amazing ladies that's going to come and bless you guys with some real conversation. So in this season, Deja's going to be looking for some wine sponsors to sponsor those episodes of that particular show. However, I am blessed to be able to launch these things and have a team that support me, because there is no I in team. So I am so thankful to have an amazing team that supports me, right? And like many people don't know, it's Thanksgiving Day, right? Well, y'all know it's Thanksgiving, but I literally have been up since 4:00 this morning. Why have I been up since 4:00 this morning? Because I had to finish putting the digital products together, because Black Friday is tomorrow. And so I'll be launching my podcast starter kit for the cost of $97, right? We were running around, so I couldn't upload it, but I'll make sure that you guys get a link to the podcast starter kit. Because the reason why I did that is when I first decided to come back as Erica Lynn Speaks and do this podcast, I knew, but somebody else mentioned it to me also, that there's so many people that want to do a podcast. And what they think a podcast is just getting on their cell phone, going live on Facebook or Instagram. And that's really not a podcast. That's just you going live. Like, I really, because I've gone through it, I've done this for many years. I've worked with other podcasters. So I've created what was called a Done For You podcast program. But then there's other tiers that I've created, because a lot of people want to monetize their podcast. They want to do sponsorships. They want to duplicate basically the same thing that I'm doing and many others. And you just don't know where to get started. Or a lot of people go tech crazy, right? So what I am thankful for is the ability that in this past 2.5 years that I've been in what I call hiding in plain sight, I developed my skill set. Like, my skill set is, sometimes it amazes me the things that I've learned how to do. And in this season, I'm really getting acquainted with AI, right? I was like, AI? What you mean AI? You young people, y'all just want to do AI. But then I realized, like, AI is amazing. I have created some of the most amazing things with AI. And so one of my partners and one of the companies that I'm a part of, he tells me, you go learn it and you come back and teach it to me. Okay, because I'm actually having fun doing this. So I am thankful for the ability that, like you said, when you're in your quiet time. So for me, I'll take the last 2.5 years was my quiet time. Might have been quiet on the camera. I wasn't on social media because I shut down all my social media pages. But that was a time for me to develop my skill sets and build my relationship with God. And let me tell you the biggest blessing, and I got to say this. Me and all 3 of my kids go to church together every Sunday, and we sit on the front row. That is something to be thankful for. So we come from a family where I couldn't even take them out in public because they fought and argued. So shout out to y'all. And then on top of that, my daughter got baptized on Sunday.
that That, yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
so in this season, I do have a lot to be thankful for, and it took a long road to get here. So when I'm saying to you guys, all of these great things that I'm telling you, they just didn't happen overnight. My kids is grown. He 30 something, she 27, he 24. So it took a long road to get here. But I'm thankful that we stuck in there and hung it out together so that we can come to you today during this podcast and just tell you some of the things that we're grateful for and how we appreciate God and appreciate one another. But I want to hear from you guys. I wanted to make sure that you guys put a comment in the comment section. Tell me, what are you thankful for? And if you have a question for Q or myself, please feel free to drop your question down in the comment section and we'll be glad to answer your question, because you know, Erica Lynn Speaks Podcast, we can't end a podcast without hearing from our audience, right? And even with our live audience, because whether we shoot the podcast at home or we shoot it in the studio, because the studio was closed today, we still have an audience. So if my audience in here have a question, please feel free to ask your question, because we got a microphone. You don't even know it. We got we got it going on here. So anyway, Qlante, so yes, so now we talked about what you're thankful for. We talked about some things that people may go through when they, you know, are just don't feel like they can go any further.
Mhm.
But let's talk about people who were actually winning, and then things in their life just came to a halt, and now they feel like God is punishing them. What would you say to that person?
Be patient. Definitely be patient. If anything comes to an abrupt stop, sometimes what you have going at that time is just not meant to be. A good parable for that is the people with the fast money. Fast money's coming, they make a mistake, something happens, they get in trouble, or it stops. Usually it's God or the higher power that you believe in guiding you out of that walk of life to walk you towards something greater. Usually, as they say, everything that glitters isn't gold. And sometimes, you know, you have to go through things like that in order for you to become a greater individual. I've had moments where I've ruined things from drinking too much or just being involved in something I wasn't supposed to be doing. And it ruined a very, very good opportunity. But it's temporary. And usually it's a sign that maybe you need to work on yourself, two, put something down, or if there's something that you're messing with, leave it alone, or three, it's time to do something different. And we live in a world that's always changing. It's the world is always spinning. It never stays in place. So when the world is always spinning, you got to be spinning too. It's always changing.
Yeah, that's so true. Because nothing stays the same. And if you're expecting it to stay the same, sometimes you'll set yourself up for disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
And we definitely don't want you to be disappointed, right? So what do you say? Okay, because one of the things I often reflect on is this place of hiding that I was in. And I never really dove deep into the past 2.5 years why I chose to go into hiding. And I know everybody kept saying, Erica Lynn, where you been? Where you been? Y'all saw me, right? Everybody else in the family was there for me. But why is it that I went into hiding? One of the things was the podcast was at the height of my career, right? Everything was growing and expanding. Good things was really happening. But I dealt with something that many people deal with. And it's like when you get to that certain level of success, it's not that I was scared. It was just that means that for me to go further, I was going to be stretched to that next level. And that meant that I could no longer revert back to the old Erica, but I had to walk into this new beginning of Erica. And I did not know how to do that in front of the camera. It was a lot easier to shut down, get quiet, make all the mistakes that I wanted to make, and nobody could see my mistakes. So now I'm here. I also said if God wanted me to come back, he was going to send sponsorship because I was footing the bill for a lot of this. So I'm trying to take care of my responsibilities. I'm trying to be Lynn Speaks. And everybody just thought I was just all of this in the bag of chips. And it just wasn't, the math wasn't mathing. Right. And I was like, oh, this is too much. And so in that time frame, when I chose to walk away, I did a podcast episode. I said, I'm taking a hiatus. I didn't even remember that I said I was taking a hiatus. I thought I said bye. But you reminded me that, Mom, your last podcast episode said that you were going to take a hiatus. And so
that means I'll be back.
Right?
I'll be back.
But it was very challenging for me. It was very challenging for me. It was easy when I was in that place of quiet, right? It was easy for me to, if I want to go to the club and have some drinks, I could. Mm-hmm. If I wanted to hang out with my friends, I could. Mm-hmm. If I wanted to do other things that I didn't have any business doing, I could. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have to be held accountable for those things because I was not out in the public eye. I didn't wear any makeup for the past 2.5 years. I was just walking through life in a complacent standpoint. Although I was building my skill set because that's naturally who I am as a woman. But as far as being out in the public, I didn't have to do it out in the public, right? Because you see a lot of celebrities when they go through things, they're saying, hey, I'm just human, just like you are. The difference is I'm going through mine and a million people know what I'm going through, opposed to just a few people in my circle. And so for me to come out of hiding and to get back on this camera, it wasn't an easy role. It wasn't something that I just jumped out and said, I want us to come back. I understood that there was a greater level of responsibility. So before I came back, I started going to church with you guys. So I've been going to church probably about 5 months now. I actually take a catechism class on Tuesday. And it was in catechism that I started learning things that I didn't learn before, right? So I always thought adultery, for example, was like you cheating on your husband. But then the Bible it broke down adultery goes a whole lot deeper than just sex between you cheating on your husband. It's like how can I say it? It's like oral sex, it's different, you know what I mean? It's lust, it's all of that was part of it. And I was like, man, why did I have to take this class, right? Because then it's like when you know better, you got to do better, right? Now it's like where I was at a place where I wasn't held accountable. Now I'm held accountable. Although I wasn't on the camera, I was held accountable in God's eyes, right? And so now in this season, as I decided to walk back into Lynn Speaks, I had to get right with God first, right? And so that's all that I'm saying is that many of you may be dealing with some things internally that you don't want the world to know about. If your secrets got out, like you're just, oh my God, what's going to happen? Listen, you preaching to the choir over here because I probably got more secrets than anybody in the Man in the Moon. But the one thing that I learned from it is with God by my side, there's no secret too big that God can't handle. Okay. So what would you say to the individual who have gone through similar experiences or who's afraid to continue on their walk because of the things in their past or the things that holding them back? How could they even move forward with all of these things holding them like in their forefront or bigger in their mind than what it really is?
That's a mental block.
Okay.
Your past does not hold you back. Your past is something that if you allow it to affect you in a positive way and you learn from your past, you allow it to define you for your future, to make you greater. I feel like the past is like wine. The longer a wine or alcoholic beverage is fermented, the better it tastes, right? So when you learn from your mistakes and you allow yourself to ferment from those mistakes, you become a better tasting beverage. Those mistakes can help others. It can allow you to teach others, to just be a guide and a role model because if you can tell people about things, but it's a different level of description when you've experienced something.
Okay.
So you definitely want to use those experiences to be a guide to help others around you, and that will be something that allows you to take your past and put it forward. The other thing is when you recognize your past and you forgive yourself for the things that you did wrong, and you love yourself for the things that you did right, and you accept it all as a whole, nobody is able to come forward and weaponize your past against you. You are in control. You have the power.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm looking into our live stream and we have some comments here. I don't see any direct questions, but I'll bring out at the bottom which one from. Okay. So Shauna Mama, she says, also, what advice would you give to someone who hasn't spoken to their mom in years and want a relationship, but the mom doesn't want one? So you go first.
Well, that's a great question. What I would say is, in that case, honestly, all you can do is try. But as long as you tried and you did your best, no matter what the outcome is, you have nothing to be upset about, because you can never force an outcome. You can never force another individual to feel the same way you feel about something. I could want to apologize and be friends with someone who was in my past, and they may not want to accept my apology, or they may not want to be friends with me again. And as long as I tried, I have nothing to feel bad about, and that's a tough outlook, but it's something that comes with time and with growth. So just be patient and just keep knocking at that door. Usually if you knock enough times, somebody comes to answer.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. All you can do is try, right? You extend that olive branch and that olive leaf and say, I'm here, I love you, but you cannot force someone to have a relationship with you. Just allow them to know that door is always open when they're ready to walk through it, because the part that you don't realize, that other individual is going through their test. They going through some things that you might not be aware of. They got demons that you don't even know that they have. They have secrets that they're holding on to. And sometimes those secrets are so heavy, they don't even know how to face you because of those secrets. I often would say about my grandmother, when she passed away with holding a lot of secrets, right? And in this generation, we're saying, why did she take, like, why did everything have to be a secret? Like, if you had told us, then that secret wouldn't have been as heavy. But then the flip side of that is, sometimes things that happen was not meant for us to know, because if we knew certain things, it probably could destroy our life for as it is. So I'm saying that to say, your mother is carrying some things that you don't know she's carrying. And because she's carrying it, she doesn't know how to have a relationship with you or bridge that gap. So you may have to allow her some time to continue to go through what it is that she's going through. But I would say this: make sure you continue to keep her uplifted in prayer, and you ask God to bless her. You ask God to pour into her, ask God to help with her healing, to help her deal with the things that she's going through. And so that one day when it's time, she's going to come to you and you guys are going to have a relationship. But you can't rush it. You just have to allow her to go through that time that she needs to go through her healing journey. Okay. So we have a question before that one. Okay. Oh, I'm thankful for your daughter who has become a great sister in Christ. My question is, how did you train up your children in the way that they should go when they are young and impressionable? Let me tell you, these were some, I can't even cuss on this podcast. These were some, they were some terrible kids, okay? I just want to tell you, they was terrible, okay? I loved them, but it was terrible in a different way. I had very, very adorable kids. Like, they were really beautiful children, and I think they understood that at an early age. So when you want to spank them, like Jalen, he would bat his eyelashes. Like, how can you, like, and my mother couldn't even punish Jalen, right? But the three of them, they got together and they fought and they argued. But I would say this. Jalen was born into the truth. I took them to the Kingdom Hall. We would go to church sometimes. Every chance I get, I tried to do something positive with them. And then I can say that I had a very great support system, my mother and my sisters, because all of our kids were around the same age. So we band together and took care of each other's kids. So when my children were younger, I didn't have the financial means to take them certain places. So my sisters, my older sisters, they did. So what I would do is I would give up the few dollars I had, and she would take my daughter and she would go all of these places, or the kids, they would just kind of go into different places. So I always made sure that they were involved in something constructive. And then when I got my finances together, I would spend all of my money pouring into them, like in dance classes, acting classes. Yeah, they drove me crazy, but they still were involved in activities. And then when one Q started dancing in the B-boy dancing, then Deja started, she was what your name was, B-girl mama or B and
TKO.
what was your name, Q?
Cadillac.
Cadillac Q. And did you have a dance name, Jalen? Yeah, yo, right. So they were, so I would make lunches, and I get in the car and we would drive up to not Auburn Hills, but heck, not Auburn Hills, but Pontiac, not Pontiac. Is that Auburn Hills right there? I guess that way.
Flip City, that was 14 and
yeah, we went there too, but by Ypsilanti, that way. That's what I'm talking about. We would go. When y'all would do the dances, and I would go and I would sit in the sidelines, and I participated in a lot of activities that they wanted to do. When Jalen started skateboarding, you think I wanted to sit there in the heat on the bench while he was flipping and dang near killed himself? No, but I did. I took the time and I participated in a lot of activities that they partook in. And so that showed them that I loved them and I cared, but it also gave them the strength and and I encouraged them that they can do and be whatever they wanted to be. And so where we are now, because it's a long time in between, we had to take our steps to get here, because they're not perfect individuals. They had to take their shortfalls, get bumps and bruises along the way. And the blessing part about this is the three of them really honestly just came out of their bumps and bruises over the last 2 years. And so for us to be here in the place of excitement and encouragement is because they really just coming out of the things that they had to go through. And so, but this is what it looks like when you go through it. This is what it looks like on the other side, how we can pull it together and love one another and pull it together so that we can be a blessing to each and every one of you all on this podcast that's watching this show. Right? Q, do you have something that you want to add to that?
That was me throwing the heart at my siblings camera.
Okay.
Absolutely. Just to add on her question, is very, very short. But yes, we started off as absolute Tasmanian devils. And eventually we turned out all right. It just took the right people pouring into us just getting exposed to the right people, opportunities, and people who we wanted to interact with that were older than us, but wanted to pour love into us equally. You know, everybody doesn't have that. Not saying you can't find those people. What I'm saying is sometimes we put people around them and we say, oh, let's put my kid in this mentorship, but this mentor ain't really pouring into people. He's just like, okay, I know I'm getting paid for this, so I'm going to try and guide these kids, but I don't really care. You need that Coach Carter. You need that like Denzel on Remember the Titans. That's what you need. Those people are far and few between, because some of them are hidden, but recognize that they are still here because it was definitely a Coach Carter that helped me cook, and he got me together. He got you together.
He got us both together, because so one of the things is I fell short in some areas too. And so what he did was every Saturday morning we had to get on Zoom at 8:00 in the morning, and Kulante was not a morning person. Oh, you so different today. If I could shout, I would.
Why she sound like Bernie Mac?
Right. So we had to get up at 8:00 in the morning and get on Zoom. And I was the one to teach Kulante financial responsibility, how to budget his books, teaching him about all the things financial. And a lot of things I did not know. I wasn't very clear about some of those things. And one morning, Kulante got on there. And it started at 8. He probably showed up like 8:05, 8:10.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was
late.
He was a jerk. He was mean. Right. Anybody that know him know he used to be really mean. And so the coach that was in the session, after Kulante was disrespectful 1 or 2 times, the coach hung up and got out of the session. And he said, I'm never coming back to the session. And I said, why aren't you coming back to the session? He said, I'm a man. I would never tolerate a young man disrespecting his mother. It will never happen on my watch. But that taught me, to nip some things in the bud with him, to teach him how to respect me, right? Because as a single mom, I was at my wit's end with him. I didn't know what else to do. And so what I learned was I can't do everything by myself, that I did have to ask for help. And I did have to allow men to come in and step in and teach these young men how to be a man. And women, I want to say this. We might not always like the way that men do things because we want to soft nurture these kids. But sometimes you got to step back. And I know sometimes watching the lessons that they have to go through is tough, but you're going to have to step back and allow a man to come in and really show another man how to be a man, because we can't teach you how to be a man. I can teach you how to be a woman, but I can't teach you how to be a man. And so because I was obedient to that, this is the man that you are today. And so I'm excited about that.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. So, well, we're coming up on the end of the hour, even though we got our podcast started late. And but I'm grateful that we jumped in and we were able to be a blessing to you guys here on this podcast. Thank you for being a guest on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I've just been actually burning to share some knowledge because, I work so much. I don't always get to pass off gems, and people pay me to teach them things like that. So to be able to hand off some free knowledge on a Thanksgiving, this is me giving back to you all, because I know people need it, and I'm just glad to be of service. First of all, to you, Mother. Thank you very much. To my siblings as well. I appreciate y'all hard work. And just to the people around us. If you think you're alone, just know one thing: you are never truly alone, ever.
Oh,
ever.
That's good. That's real good. That's good. I want to shout out Shauna for watching the show. And I want to give a shout out to Brandon and his grandmother. May God be with all of you all and have his hands upon your life. And we're going to get out of here. And I guess I want to have a few words to say. What do I want to say to you guys on this wonderful day? I'm thankful for God has put me and my kids in life. I'm thankful to be able to be a blessing to all of you all who watch this podcast. And if something that we said today resonated with you, to made a difference in your life, to allow you to say, okay, I'm not going to throw in the towel today, that I'm going to just take one more step into discovering what God has for me, then we have done our job. We have successfully done what God has asked us to do on this Thanksgiving episode. I am so looking forward to many, many more episodes, and to just bringing out whatever it is that you need from us, because we have some great guests coming on the show that have some wonderful stories that we're going to be unfolding over the next 12 weeks of Erica Lynn Speaks Podcast. And what's most importantly, I'm glad that you guys are here to see me come out in hiding, because I'm not going to go back in hiding. It's only going to get better from here. So if I can do it, I know that you can too. So just keep walking on your journey and discovering what life has for you. And so I'm excited, and I want to shout out to our sponsors, ETSN 24/7. And if you guys are looking to be a sponsor on Erica Lynn Speaks Podcast, just send an email to sponsor@IamEricaLynnSpeaksPodcast, and my assistant will get back with you and make sure you guys get the sponsor packet. But that's all I got to say. I'm excited. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And so I'll see you guys next week live at 7 p.m. on Lynn Speaks Podcast. And always remember, it only takes just one